This is going to be a great big special edition of Sundry News. A weekend mashup of Sundry News. Starting with Cowboys Wire from Friday, July 24th. Connor Williams. Why do I start yawning as soon as I start doing this? Connor Williams has competition at left guard for Cowboys. There's a running joke about the Philadelphia Eagles. Okay, there are a lot of running jokes about the Philadelphia Eagles. Cowboys agree to terms with top pick wide receiver CeeDee Lamb. Yep. March to a different beat. Cowboys strong tackle ace now gets to work with one of NFL's best. Okay. Cowboys news, best yet to come for Amari DiNucci report, what no preseason means. Yeah. No preseason. Sad. Coming on the heels of the NFL canceling the entire preseason, the league has deemed fans will be required to wear some sort of face covering at games. That's not shocking. The Van Der Esch one. We read that. Excuse me. Band back together. Cowboys linebacker group among NFL best. Yes, they are. I'm Batman. Masks required for attendance at Cowboys NFL games. That's the stupidest comparison ever because Batman has his nose and mouth uncovered, whereas masks are supposedly supposed to cover your nose and mouth. Cowboys news, preseason canceled. Lawrence awesome. Dak's MVP chances. Probably not very high. Season opener at Rams is latest Cowboys game to have attendance cut. Reggie Robinson II becomes third Cowboys rookie to agree to terms. Good stuff. Repetitive stuff. Next up is Cowboys Wire from yesterday, Saturday, July 25th. And it starts with the exact same top story. And then the agreeing to terms with top pick wide receiver CeeDee Lamb. This is why I yawn. Jerry Jones presents 2026 World Cup pitch for Dallas in AT&T Stadium. When Jerry Jones created AT&T Stadium just over a decade ago, the Cowboys owner and GM had more than just professional football on his mind. That would certainly bring a lot of money to Dallas. Key to Cowboys' 2020 success will be red zone trust in Dak's hands and feet. Dallas Cowboys had one of the NFL's best offenses in 2019. Quarterback Dak Prescott threw for over 4,900 yards and 30 touchdowns. And yet, we still did have trouble in the red zone. Had a mediocre record and didn't make the playoffs. Brad's deals. Cowboys news, best yet to come for Amari, DiNucci, blah, 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 blah. Details of NFL and NFLPA agreeing to modified CBA so camp can start. That's collective bargaining agreement. Band back together, Cowboys linebacker group among NFL best. Blah, 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 blah. Other stuff. Next up is the ESPN Daily from Friday, July 24th. Good morning. Just when I was starting to get comfortable with my DC sports fandom being a source of pride, thank you Nats, Mystics, and Caps, the newly minted Washington football team had to go and humble me again. Here's your ESPN Daily. Well, technically, they were always the Washington football team. That's Redskins, by the way. Boxer Christy Martin's fight for her life. World champion boxer Christy Martin is a trailblazer in her sport who was just named an inductee into the Boxing Hall of Fame. She was perhaps the first female fighter to make national headlines, but behind her successful career, Martin faced emotional and physical abuse from her trainer and then husband, Jim Martin. In 2010, Jim violently attacked Christy and left her for dead. On today's episode of the ESPN Daily, ESPN's Alison Glock joins to talk about Christy's career, her harrowing fight for survival, and how she has moved forward with her life and love a decade later. Things to care about. It's NFL training camp time. NFL training camp for the 2020 season opens Saturday for the Kansas City Chiefs and Houston Texans, and next Tuesday for the rest of the league. To put it mildly, the off-season was different, and I'm not just referring to the decision to expand the postseason, or Tom Brady and Gronk going to Tampa Bay, or Cam Newton becoming the quarterback of the Patriots, or Patrick Mahomes getting a massive contract. Because the coronavirus panic meant there was no in-person training. The lack of OTAs and mini camps puts an increased importance on camp. There is a massive amount of uncertainty surrounding all 32 teams, ranging from how the league will ensure players' safety to personnel questions. How will wide receiver DeAndre Hopkins impact the Cardinals' offense? Will Falcons running back Todd Gurley be a major factor in the offense despite concerns about his left knee? Who wins the Bears' quarterback competition between Mitchell Trubisky and Nick Foles? Our NFL Nation reporters have put together camp previews and 53-man roster projections for every team to get you ready to tackle the unknown. MMA's king of social media. UFC middleweight Darren Till, who will face Robert Whittaker on Fight Island Saturday night, became the social media king of the fight game during the panic lockdown. As with all great endeavors, Till said his newfound talent came about when I was drunk in Manchester and it just started. Till's recent obsession is photoshopping his face on other people's bodies. His current Twitter handle is Darren Bisbing, and it features Till's face and Michael Bisping's photoshopped together. Ugh. Till said his favorite post was when he put his face on the body of UFC President Dana White. Hey, he's nothing if not innovative. For the months everyone was locked up, everyone had bigger problems, and I just wanted to make my social media fun, and I think everyone enjoyed it, Till said. Although it remains to be seen how his social media clout will translate to success in the octagon, at least he always has his 227,000 Twitter followers to fall back on. Not your average opening day. For all intents and purposes, baseball is back. The home runs are back. The blazing fastballs blurring across our TV screens are back. The bat flips, the doubles in the gap, the how did I do that defensive plays, the box scores, the exit velocities, the hot takes, the debates, the hopeful late game rallies, the walk-off hits, the beautiful background noise of summer, all of it. However, if you watched the 2 games last night, you probably noticed that quarantine baseball is, well, different. You know, with the no fans in the stands, no sunflower seeds, no high fives, and designated hitters in the National League. But because baseball is baseball, those aforementioned items are currently the least of our concern. Here's what to watch for, who you might not realize is on the team, and a fun bet for every opening day game. Weekend binge reads. Amaya's side hustle as a bubble barber. While the NBA bubble comes equipped with a barbershop, the player experience of the MLS back tournament, Major League Soccer's back tournament, isn't as accommodating. Given the social distancing mandates, the uncertainty surrounding hair care options isn't a surprise. Yet for the players on Football Club Cincinnati, this isn't an issue. Frankie Amaya has them covered. Amaya, 19, has become the team's in-house barber, trimming the locks of players such as Harris Medunjanin, Kendall Waston, Greg Garza, and Jurgen Locadia. Nobody would trust me in the beginning, Amaya told ESPN in an exclusive interview. Now I've got clients lined up left and right. The cost might have something to do with the surge in demand. At present, Amaya isn't charging his teammates anything, though he will accept tips. Most of the guys are pretty cheap, Amaya quipped, but it does allow time for Amaya to get to know his teammates better so they can swap stories, bond, and of course, ratchet up the banter. An Olympic dream delayed. Today would have been the Tokyo Olympics opening ceremonies. That's depressing. The expectation was for a spectacle, blindingly bright fireworks, inspiring Japanese music, breathtaking kimonos, and a kaleidoscope of colors draped across the floor of Tokyo's Olympic Stadium. Nothing has been normal since March 24th when the International Olympic Committee and Tokyo Organizing Committee jointly announced the postponement of the 2020 Tokyo Games. Now, instead of opening ceremonies on July 24th, there is uncertainty, disconnect, confusion, and the very real possibility that the Games, now scheduled to begin a year later on July 23rd, 2021, might never happen at all. In a survey conducted earlier this month by Japanese news agency Kyodo, only 1 in 4 Japanese citizens were in favor of hosting the Games in 2021. 36% of respondents thought the Games should again be postponed, which International Olympic Committee President Thomas Bach has said will not happen. And 33% of respondents thought the Games should be outright canceled. What is wrong with you Japanese people? But athletes are still training, still preparing. If there is one word they have learned more than any other in the 4 months since the postponement was announced, it's improvisation. Things to watch. Stanton delivers first homer of the season. Benefit of no fans in the stands? You can really hear when players smash one deep. Yankees star Giancarlo Stanton connected in his first at-bat to record the first home run of the 2020 season. If I weren't bitter he got one over on Max Scherzer, I would say Stanton's dinger was a beauty, but I am, so you'll just have to watch the video and judge for yourself. Overheard. He's more patient now. I think when he was younger he had a shorter fuse. He's more relatable and easier to get along with. J.R. Smith on the difference in LeBron James's leadership style from their days in Cleveland to now with LA. Okay. Remember when? On this date in 1983, Royals third baseman George Brett hit a go-ahead home run against the Yankees. Yankees manager Billy Martin noticed that Brett had pine tar extending a few inches longer on his bat than the rules allowed. Umpires called Brett out, and he set a record for a dash from the dugout to home plate as he furiously argued. The Royals would eventually win the game after filing a protest. Until next time, remember, it just sort of feels messed up that my football rooting interest has to spend the entirety of next season being referred to as the Washington football team, while Seattle's new NHL team released the Kraken. That's cool. Even if the Seattle Kraken definitely stole their logo from Seagram's Ginger Ale, a super cool mythical sea creature still trumps no nickname at all. This has been your ESPN Daily for Friday, July 24th, 2020. Lest anyone forget, that's the Washington Redskins that she's referring to. And that's it for ESPN. Moving on to Yahoo Sports Read and React from Friday, July 24th. As baseball returns, MLB announces an expanded postseason. The Washington football team, that's Redskins, will be called the Washington football team, formerly known as the Redskins. National star Juan Soto tests positive for COVID-19 just hours before season begins. Sucks to be him. So I'm guessing, even if he doesn't have any symptoms, he's still not allowed to play, huh? Which is just really sad. And ridiculous. Seattle is getting a new, you can play if you have a cold. Somebody has a cold, I'm pretty sure they can choose to play. But with this, even though it's the same type of virus as a cold. With this, you're not given a choice. All choice, all personal responsibility, all personal liability is just out the window. Seattle is getting a new NHL hockey team with an outstanding name and logo, and apparently it's the Seattle Kraken. A Sacramento Kings player left the NBA bubble for chicken wings. Okay. Does that mean he can't get back in? Will he have to sit in timeout for a while? Why stop at just virtual baseball fans? By Jay Busby. A crowd at a baseball game is a living, breathing entity, sometimes engaged, sometimes restless, sometimes bored. But now, as baseball returns at long last, there's no beast, no fans in the stands. Something essential is missing. Leagues that have already returned have tried to patch over this absence with everything from cutouts in the stands to, inflatable dolls. But here comes Fox with a big announcement. They'll have virtual fans cheering, booing, waving, and, well, that's pretty much it so far. But still, it's an elegant enough solution to the problem of aesthetics that comes with watching baseball in an empty ballpark. But why stop with just fans in the stands? There's no rule, not even an unwritten one, that you can't fill a stadium with literally any virtual sprites imaginable. So let's cut loose. Dogs. This is non-negotiable. For at least one game this season, Fox must replace all human virtual fans with virtual dogs. Imagine the cacophony of howls that would come from this agglomeration of good boys and girls. 12 of 10 would recommend. That's retarded. Old Hall of Famers. This is a suggestion from Yahoo Sports baseball writer extraordinaire Mike Oz. I'm sure that Yahoo Sports has any sort of extraordinary writers. Recreations of legendary ball players watching their descendants roam their old stomping grounds. Give me Jedi Ghost Babe Ruth and Mickey Mantle hugging and high-fiving after an Aaron Judge walk-off, Oz writes, and I concur. Ted Williams and Tony Gwynn critiquing Mike Trout. Mark McGuire and Sammy Sosa watching Bryce Harper's homers and smiling. Sandy Koufax and Greg Maddux pointing at Clayton Kershaw and laughing. The possibilities are endless. Costumes. Fox is already boasting of its ability to outfit the fans in the home team's colors. That's great, but why stop there? Have Christmas in September. Outfit everyone in Halloween gear in late October. When it's 70s night, the stadium ought to look like Studio 54. Every day can be a Comic-Con cosplay event. At this point, it just sounds like they're mocking Fox. In-game promotions. Look, if we're going to be authentic, we want the home crowd to see some in-game promotions with some extra topspin. When in Washington, instead of watching presidents in giant head costumes racing, why not have the actual Washington Jefferson et al. Race? When in Atlanta, why not have the Freeze race Dale Earnhardt's Black Number 3? Instead of cheerleaders firing a cannon that shoots out hot dogs, why not have hot dogs firing a cannon that shoots out cheerleaders? Think big here, folks. Oh my goodness. Virtual fans acting like real fans. Okay, sure, I get it. You want to have fans cheering and booing and doing the wave and all that. But when have you ever seen baseball fans acting in a completely coherent and rational fashion for 9 innings? We need to see virtual fans doing the wave at the wrong time, getting into virtual fights, cursing little virtual cusses at virtual moms trying to cover the virtual ears of virtual little kids. Oh my goodness. We want virtual ushers hauling virtual fans out of the expensive seats they've snuck into. Virtual goofballs spilling virtual beer over the row in front of them. I want to see some virtual shirtless moron fall asleep in the bleachers and get himself a virtual second-degree sunburn. Authenticity. It's within our reach. Aliens. Most cheap seats are already a wretched hive of scum and villainy, so why not go full Star Wars Cantina? Put aliens, zombies, velociraptors, and dwarves out there. Have a dragon and a kaiju looming out behind the center field wall. Tradition? We're in the entertainment business now, friends. Let's do it, Fox. This will be the strangest baseball season in history. Only right it ought to get weird in the stands, too. Paler. Despite the Washington name change, more to do. Oh, brother. Redskins. Redskins, 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 Redskins. Edom. Which stars might skip a spring college football season? Thamel. The key role that's college football's biggest obstacle. He threw the old flattened curve. Ha 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 ha. Dr. Anthony Fauci, wearing the number 19, threw out the first pitch to open the 2020 MLB season and, well, see for yourself. Yep. And then he proceeded to sit in the stands with his wife and some other dude and watch the game. You know, those empty stands where there are supposed to be no fans. Nobody else in the whole world gets to watch baseball live unless your name is Dr. Anthony Fauci, or you're his wife, or I guess his buddy. I've seen people bitching about how he didn't have his mask on and he was sitting shoulder to shoulder with his two other guests, and his wife didn't have her mask on either. To me, that's not the issue. It's just the fact that he got to be there at all, watching the whole game, when nobody else in the world gets to do that. That's what's fucked up. Follow Yahoo Sports on social. We move away from sports now to Conservative Review from Friday, July 24th. Here are the top stories. Illegal alien/DACA recipient released after assault and DUIs in Texas accused of killing 3 retired cops in DUI crash. My goodness. So multiple DUIs and assault, then released, then yet another DUI which killed 3 people. What the fuck? Do these lives matter? Apparently not. This dude has a serious drinking problem. What the fuck? I'm concerned. I'm just not petrified. Mike Rowe offers common sense counterpoint to the media's COVID-19 hysteria. That makes a lot of sense. I'm sure it does. Listen, how to organize for liberty and sanity at the local level. Sanity would be really nice right now. Today we are joined by Shanna Joy, a talk show host in Rochester, who was a leader in the anti-Common Core movement. Well, she lost that battle. Liberty and sanity both would be really nice to have right now. New developments cast serious doubt on Cathy Arew's harassment lawsuit against Fox News, Tucker Carlson, and Sean Hannity. The allegations don't seem to match up. Yeah, she's the one who apparently thinks everybody wants her. Multiple sexual assault or sexual harassment allegations. Sexual harassment allegations against multiple people with not a whole lot of, detail, not a whole lot of evidence, not really much of a story at all, and yeah, she obviously just thinks that everybody wants her. This is a you problem, lady, not a them problem. GOP representative introduces resolution demanding the Democratic Party change its name or be barred from the House over past support for slavery and Confederacy. playing by their rules. Yeah. They actually had pictures of former congressmen, excuse me, I don't mean to be politically correct, former congressmen removed from being displayed because they had been part of the Confederacy back in the day. So, yeah. Oh, those were all Democrats, by the way. Yeah, this makes perfect sense. Next, we move on to the Daily Wire from Friday, July 24th. GOP stimulus plan to include $1,200 checks for millions of Americans. That's good that they're sticking with the old figures. That is good. Congressman introduces bill that would have Democrat Party change name or be barred from participation in the House. Just read about that on Conservative Review. Soros-backed district attorney signals willingness to arrest feds and appears to compare them to Nazis. I believe that's the district attorney for Philadelphia. And good luck with that, dude. Nazis. No. The Nazis. We have the mentality of Nazis, but it's not that. It's not what's happening there. It's all of the enforcement of rules that are actually bad for individuals just for supposedly the collective good. And I am referring to mask mandates here. They're not good for you. They're not good for the individual. And yet, the people who work in stores, doctor's offices, and so forth, they just go along with making you do it just so they can stay safe in their job, just so they don't get in trouble. That's the Nazi mentality. Chinese consulate in Houston was massive spy center. FBI probes Chinese army suspects in 25 plus cities. Cleaning house is a good thing. Watch, rapper T.I. wants $44 trillion in slavery reparations. Fuck you, dude. Ben's latest op-ed. As coronavirus cases rise across the nation, the media and the Democrats, but I repeat myself, have struck upon a narrative. COVID-19 has been mishandled by Republicans. This is, to be sure, a dubious proposition. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. There's some ads. Blah, blah, blah. The Daily Shapiro from Friday, July 24th. Congressman introduces bill. Yes, yes, yes. The Democrat Party must change its name. I wonder what they would change their name to if they actually went along with this, which I seriously doubt they will. Although if it's a bill that gets signed into law, then they would have to. I wonder. I mean, honestly, they would probably change it to something that would show them to be for people that they're really not for. Probably. They would just be further mischaracterized. Covington Catholic High School student Nick Sandman settles $250 million lawsuit with the Washington Post. Good for him. 3 federal officers face permanent blindness after rioters shine lasers in their eyes. Fucking assholes. Trump signals 75,000 agents ready to go into Democrat-controlled cities to stop surging violence. Do it. Fucking do it. Crush them. CDC sides with Trump, says students need to go back to school. Ahaha. Of course, there's still going to be all sorts of stupid, arbitrary rules. Protect your online privacy with ExpressVPN. And watch The Ben Shapiro Show. And now it's the Daily Wire from yesterday, Saturday, July 25th. Nick Sandmann settles lawsuit. Oh, by the way, he's not done though. Let's see, I think it was January, he settled with, CNN settled with him, and now Washington Post, and he'll be moving on to other news outlets, and rightly so. Good for him. Walsh. I looked up every case of an unarmed black man shot by cops in 2019. Here's the truth the media and Black Lives Matter are hiding. Yeah, the number is 9, right? 9. That's the number. And while, yes, I'm sure there are cases where the person didn't die from shooting, it's still gonna be a pretty small number. But nobody in these movements actually care about the actual numbers. LeBron on Black Lives Matter. In America, there ain't been no damn movement for us. Fucking, oh my gosh. Fucking bullshit. I am so sick of LeBron. Honestly. This is all so stupid. There ain't been no damn movement for us. What the fuck do you call... Oh my goodness. What the fuck do you call civil rights legislation? That was the product of the original movement for you. Oh my goodness. U.S. defense officials briefed in off-world vehicles not made on this earth. Senator Rubio sounds alarm over unidentified aircraft. That sounds like a nice distraction. I just can't get on board. San Francisco Giants player cites Christian faith as reason for refusing to kneel for BLM. Why didn't they use the picture that shows him standing amongst all the other people kneeling? That's a good picture. I don't want to see this shit. So far I've heard of 2 teams that where the entirety of the team didn't kneel at all. One was the Indians, I think, and the other was, it's escaped me. Damn it. Phooey. But there's been 2, at least. So that's heartening. There's some ads. It's always the same ads. 1 tip to trade stocks profitably. Learn from Chuck Hughes. Okay. And here we have the Daily Shapiro for yesterday, Saturday, July 25th. America is hitting the self-destruct button. On Tuesday, the Wall Street Journal released the results of a poll performed in conjunction with NBC News. The poll found that 56% of Americans believe American society is racist. There is no way. There's no way that number is that high. They're not polling the right people. 71% believe race relations are either very or fairly bad. Most troubling, 65% of Black Americans say that racial discrimination is built into American society, including into our policies and institutions. So stupid. The notion that America is systemically racist bodes ill for the future. It's also a dramatic lie. Judge blocks Seattle from stripping police officers of pepper spray. Okay, that's good. You can't get much more non-lethal than pepper spray, can you? WNBA players walk off the court during national anthem. And yet they were allowed to walk back on to play. It's so petulant. The petulance is disgusting. And arrogance. Judge rules federal agents don't have to identify themselves while making arrests in Portland. Ah ha ha ha. But this has been some big lie that they're some secret police, because you can tell that they're police. They do have badges. They do have police written on their front of their bulletproof vest things. So whatever. And there's more of the same ads. Last of all, for this crop of daily wires, is this one for today, July 26th. WNBA players are petulant children. Compliance would be disobedience. Prominent California church defies state lockdown to resume in-person assembly. Good for them. I believe what they're saying is compliance with the state would be disobedience to God. And I wish more people would realize that. Fox host calls out Trump campaign press secretary for fake claim about polls. Huh. I'm out of here. Joe Rogan says he's leaving LA for Texas. Good for you, dude. Watch. Video busts myths about face masks and COVID-19. Okay. I'm actually going to click on one because this sounds like something I'm interested in. On Thursday, YouTube channel It's Okay to Be Smart released a video in which host and writer Joe Hansen debunks a series of myths related to mask wearing. Bottom line, masks work. They are safe for almost everyone to wear, and the more people that wear them along with adhering to physical distancing and other strategies, then that is more lives that we will save. Hansen begins. The host notes that many people have watched his previous video on the effectiveness of cloth masks in which he used Schlieren imaging, making certain airflow patterns visible to the human eye. Hansen continues addressing a few of the most common myths and misunderstandings regarding masks and COVID-19. Well, you know what? If it does not hinder somebody's breathing, then more power to them. But there are some people who it does, such as people in the third trimester of pregnancy who already are having trouble breathing because of that. It does. Trust me, it fucking does. There's myth, blah, blah, blah. Blah, 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 blah. Yeah, this is long. So, obviously I'll include the link. And like I said, lovely. Lovely if it works for those people who can wear them. But making people who can't breathe well with them on wear them is not cool. And making people wear them anyway. You're taking away people's liberty, people's personal responsibility. You know what also stops your little droplets from flying around when you sneeze or cough is sneezing or coughing into your elbow. Common courtesy. You don't making masks mandatory is taking away, is demonstrating that you have no trust in people. It's not a good precedent to be setting. And that's all. That's all for that. Moving on to the Daily Yahoo for Friday, July 24th. Dr. Anthony Fauci throws wild first pitch during MLB's opening game. Dr. Anthony Fauci has made no secret of his baseball fandom, but it's probably a good thing there were no fans in the stands when he threw the first pitch of the season. Funny you should bring up the fact that there were no fans in the stands, because at this particular game, there actually were some fans in the stands. There were Dr. Fauci's wife and some other dude, presumably a friend. And then after he threw out the pitch, he proceeded to sit with his wife and his apparent friend and watch the game. That's, nobody else in the country or the world gets to sit in the stands and watch a baseball game, except for Dr. Anthony Fauci. Does that seem right to you? Meghan McCain pushes back on Mary Trump's tell-all. I don't like books like this. You're entirely entitled to your opinion, the president's niece told The View co-host. I think if you read the book, you see that I bring to the story my very deep experience within the family. Okay. Ilhan Omar rips Rudy's reckless lie and Zuckerberg's dangerous disinformation. So Yahoo News cares what Ilhan Omar has to say. Under tremendous pressure and facing a well-funded Democratic primary challenger, freshman Congresswoman Ilhan Omar, Democrat, Minnesota, remains defiant. Over the past 2 years, she has emerged as a polarizing national figure, an inspiring member of the Squad. Oh my goodness. Yeah, the Squad. The Squad is super inspiring. Of progressive activists and young people of color, blah, blah, blah. Inspiring. 15 injured after shooting outside Chicago funeral home. Yep. That was during a funeral for a shooting victim. When a person picks up a gun, we suffer as a city. Oh, yes, transfer it all to the guns. Those battle guns, said Chicago Mayor Lori Lightfoot. Musk promises giant contract for efficiently mined nickel. Elon Musk has a plea for mining companies. Please mine more nickel. Tesla will give you a giant contract for a long period of time if you mine nickel efficiently and in an environmentally sensitive way, said Musk, chief executive officer of the electric car maker. Okay. Spain will fulfill labor reform plan, not lower pensions after EU deal, minister says. The Spanish government will fulfill its commitment to change the country's labor laws and will not lower public pensions after approval of the EU Recovery Fund earlier this week, Labor Minister Yolanda Diaz said on Wednesday. Diaz's comments echoed remarks by Foreign Minister Arantxa somebody or other. Okay. Good for Spanish pensioners. Catch the highlights from All Markets Summit Extra. Stream the first event in our all-virtual Yahoo Finance All Markets Summit series on demand today. Featuring extra content and timely insights, tune in to learn about what's next for the economy from the brightest minds in business. Okay, whatever. Oh, Yahoo search. Oh, look, coronavirus is now trending at number 1. I'm sure. Kourtney Kardashian, ADA 30th anniversary, Alison Brie, Casper mattress, college loans, Sabrina Carpenter, Elizabeth Henstridge, logo creator free, Michael Douglas. Okay, moving on. It's the Daily Yahoo from yesterday, July 25th. Yes, July 25th. U.S. Supreme Court turns down church challenge to Nevada panic rules. The Supreme Court declined to lift a 50-person limit on religious services adopted by Nevada's Democratic governor in response to the coronavirus panic. I've heard very unhappy things about that. Trump And GOP ally, Trump, GOP ally, vow Confederate base names won't change. President Donald Trump and a top Senate Republican are pushing Congress to preserve the names of military bases that honor Confederate generals, even though the House and Senate have overwhelmingly approved bills that rename them. Like him, Inhofe is not a believer in cancel culture. Inhofe, that's the name of somebody? Okay. Well, cancel culture is bad. Let's not indulge it. And I mean, changing the names of things like that probably should not necessarily be done on a federal level. It should be done on a local level. Anthropologie's sales section is currently an extra 50% off, but hurry! From dreamy dresses to utility joggers, take a look at 10 of our favorite picks from Yahoo Canada Style. What are you doing here in my newsletter? U.S. coronavirus update. What we have right now are essentially 3 New Yorks, says Dr. Birx. Dr. Birx is still out there? I haven't heard anything from her in a long time. Nobody talks about what she says. While it took 45 days to climb from 1 million and 2 million coronavirus cases in the United States, it took just only 16 days for infections to jump from 3 million to, as of Thursday, 4 million. How did that happen? Okay. And yet, I'm pretty sure deaths are still, going down, so I mean, this is a good thing. Just get it over with. U.S. coronavirus deaths top 1,100 for a third day in a row. The United States on Thursday also passed a total of more than 4 million coronavirus infections since the first U.S. case was documented in January, according to a Reuters tally reflecting a nationwide escalation of the panic. Just look at the actual death rate. When you're dealing with such big numbers, especially with such a big number for total cases, alleged cases, the actual rate of death, the number for that, should be being considered, should be important, but no mention of it. Trio faced jail over PC Andrew Harper death as driver is cleared of murder. Henry Long, 19, was acquitted of murder after admitting manslaughter along with 2 other teens. I don't know anything about this story. Simplified election coverage. No thank you, Yahoo. Yahoo search. Oh, coronavirus at number 1. Cheryl Burkhoff, 88th 30th anniversary. Samantha Hoops. Natalie Emanuel, 2020 Subaru Crosstrek. Lin-Manuel Miranda. Anna Kendrick. Custom face masks. Aetna Dental Insurance. Okie dokie. Last of all, the Daily Yahoo for today, July 26th. Kanye West apologizes to wife Kim Kardashian West on Twitter. I did not cover her. Kanye West has taken to Twitter to apologize to his wife Kim Kardashian West following a string of cryptic messages about her in the past few days. Apparently, he's been having some sort of bipolar episode. Elon Musk opens up about parenting son. Oh my goodness. I have no idea how to say that. She has a much bigger role than me. That is his baby mama. Are they married? I don't even know. When the kid gets older, there will be more of a role for me, Elon Musk said. Okay. There will never be another. Kathy Lee Gifford, President Trump, and more react to Regis Philbin's death. Yes, sad. What did he die of? Tributes for Regis Philbin poured in Saturday on social media from Kelly Ripa, President Trump, and more stars who worked with the legendary TV host. Poor Regis Philbin. Poor us for losing Regis Philbin. Trump's federal squads steal leaf blower idea from Portland protest dads. That would be alleged dads. Protesters have been using garden tools to blast tear gas back at federal squads. Oh, so if they stole the idea from them, then maybe the tear gas is getting back to where it should be? Good. Tight security outside U.S. Chengdu consulate after China orders closure. Security was tight outside the U.S. consulate in the Chinese city of Chengdu on Saturday as staff inside prepared to leave a day after China ordered it to close in response to a U.S. order for China to shut its consulate in Houston. Okay. Tit for tat. Airbus, hopefully they are able to get out of the country safely. I wouldn't feel very safe if I was them. Airbus moves to end 16 years of litigation, end U.S. tariffs. European plane maker Airbus says it is taking the last step to end 16 years of litigation with the United States at the World Trade Organization over subsidies. The manufacturer said it will end a system of financial support from France and Spain that the something blah blah blah. Interesting. That's probably a good thing since Boeing won't let go of the whole MAX debacle. Whatever that, 737 I think, 737 MAX. Yeah, they won't let go of that. They keep trying to make those. So, yeah, that's probably a good thing. ADA 30th anniversary. Today is the 30th anniversary of the Americans with Disabilities Act, the civil rights law that prohibits discrimination and protects equal access for people with disabilities. Check Yahoo's new series of stories featuring advocates and changemakers leading the fight for disability rights today. Okay, so you just said we have the Americans with Disabilities Act that prohibits discrimination and protects equal access for people with disabilities. So why is there a fight for disability rights today? That just sounds like unnecessary stuff. It sounds like probably people are making money off of like other people for not really doing anything. That's what that sounds like. What's hot Yahoo search? Oh, coronavirus #1 again. This is what we're doing now? It's not going to be at #3 anymore. It was at #3 for weeks. Now it's going to be at #1 again. All the time, huh? Conchata Ferrell, ADA 30th anniversary, that you just talked about up there. Amanda Balionis, Men's Sperry Topsiders. Senior Citizen Apartments, Gwyneth Paltrow, Deanna Agron, George Clooney, Lendio PPP. Don't know what that is. Alright, that's it for the Daily Yahoo. Last but certainly not least, we have 1440. Good morning, it's Friday, July 24th, and we're watching Dr. Anthony Fauci's opening day throw on repeat. Honestly, it's kind of depressing to watch. Does a little hard left thing. Doesn't actually make it to the plate or the catcher. Pretty sad. And then he got to sit in the stands with his wife and somebody who was presumably a friend, shoulder to shoulder. Empty seats all around. Nobody else in the country allowed to watch a live football game except for Dr. Anthony Fauci. Need to know. Initial unemployment claims rise. Just over 1.4 million Americans filed initial unemployment claims last week, slightly higher than economist expectations and an increase of roughly 100,000 from the previous week. It marks the 18th consecutive week of more than 1 million first-time claims and breaks a 15-week streak of gradually declining claims since peaking at 6.9 million in late March. California saw the highest number of claims at nearly 300,000. How many of those are newly minted illegal aliens that are pouring across the unsecured California border? Analysts say the rise is partially driven by a number of states reversing reopening plans and amid growing coronavirus cases. Continuing claims, workers who have been collecting benefits for at least 2 weeks, a better proxy for current unemployment, dropped by 1.1 million from the previous week's report to 16.2 million. Figures for continuing claims lag initial claims by 1 week. Separately, Labor Department data show 13.2 million additional workers, typically self-employed contractors or gig economy workers, are receiving unemployment benefits under a coronavirus stimulus provision, which runs through the end of the year. I don't think that it should run that long. The figures come as a $600 per week boost to unemployment benefits provided under the CARES Act stimulus package ends this month. The last payment for most comes this weekend. Individuals can expect an average of $383 per week absent the provision. Jacksonville canceled. President Trump announced yesterday the Jacksonville, Florida component of the GOP convention scheduled for August will be canceled, citing COVID-19 concerns. Why give in? Why give in? The event was originally scheduled for Charlotte, North Carolina, but was relocated after the state pushed for a limited gathering. Delegates will still gather in Charlotte August 24th to formally nominate Trump as the GOP presidential candidate. It is unclear whether he will accept in person. Look, I understand why Trump personally might want to wear a mask or not go to gatherings and such, because he is of a certain age that puts him in the danger zone for this. But you don't have to ruin everything for all the younger people. The move came as the number of reported coronavirus cases in the U.S. passed 4 million, doubling the number of known cases in just 6 weeks. States like Florida and Arizona have begun to see downward trends in new cases, while reported cases are on the rise in Texas, California, Louisiana, Mississippi, and elsewhere. See how your state is doing here. The rise in new cases is only partially due to an increase in testing capacity. Testing positivity, the fraction of tests returned as positive, has more than doubled since June 1st in the South, now more than 12%, and the West, 8.7%, but has stayed flat in the Northeast, 1.9%. See the data here. More than 144,305 people have died from the virus in the U.S., allegedly. More than 633,000 globally, with daily deaths passing 1,000 each of the past 3 days, a threshold not broken since late May. The Centers for Disease Control and Prevention has said the number of actual cases could be 2 to 13 times higher in some regions, which means that the death rate is a fuck ton lower. The agency has established a map of estimated seroprevalence, the percentage of the population already infected based on antibody blood tests in different states, updated as new studies are completed. View the graphic here. In related news, the degree to which reinfections occur is still up for debate, though many experts now think severe reinfections are very unlikely. Ahaha. No payroll tax cuts. Treasury Secretary Steven Mnuchin said the White House had reached an agreement with the Senate on the outline of a fourth coronavirus stimulus package, but that it would not include a payroll tax cut. Despite the broad agreement, haggling on details prevented Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell from a scheduled unveiling yesterday. Known provisions include $105 billion for education, with $30 billion set aside for schools planning to reopen in the fall. Direct payments would be exactly the same as the March package that sent $1,200 checks to households, with a phase-out beginning at $75,000. Oh, so not the lowered, not lowered to $40,000. Okay. The $600 per week unemployment boost is likely to be extended at lower levels. What? The goal is to provide the newly unemployed 70% of their pre-panic income, but does not extend an eviction moratorium that ends this month. Okay, good. See more details on the proposal here. Negotiations with House Democrats, who previously unveiled a $3.5 trillion bill, start shortly. Can we just... Moderation, okay? Moderation. Where is this money supposed to be coming from? This is irresponsible, okay? Billions of dollars is bad enough. Let's not make it trillions. Separately, the Senate voted 86-14 to approve a defense policy bill that requires the renaming of military bases honoring Confederate leaders, setting up a veto showdown with the White House. In the know, sports, entertainment, and culture. Taylor Swift dropped surprise album Folklore this morning. Kanye West also set to release new album Donda today. Donda? Like, where? But album may be delayed as of this morning. WNBA season tips off Saturday, that was yesterday, in a bubble in Bradenton, Florida, with a truncated schedule. See what life is like inside the WNBA bubble. Probably sucks. Washington, D.C.'s NFL franchise will be known as Washington Football Team for 2020 season. That's formerly known as the Redskins, while team seeks a permanent name. Seattle's expansion NHL team announces it will be known as the Kraken. Science and technology. Genetic analysis suggests the virus that causes smallpox was circulating in humans as early as 600 AD. The variola virus was declared eradicated in 1980, but its origins remain unknown. NASA's Mars rover passes flight readiness test, has nuclear power source installed, ahead of July 30th launch. Cool. Nuclear power. It's the future. Scientists find a chemically altered DNA base pair plays a role in placenta development in mice. It was unclear if the compound, methylated adenine, even existed in mammals. Was unclear. But now it is clear because mice are mammals. How DNA works. Business and markets, brought to you by The Ascent. Big tech stocks lead U.S. stock markets lower. S&P 500 down 1.2%, Dow down 1.3%, NASDAQ down 2.3%, as weekly unemployment claims tick up. Ugh. Ascena Retail Group, owner of brands like Ann Taylor, Lane Bryant, Loft, and others, files for Chapter 11 bankruptcy. Will close a significant number of its 2,800 stores. Twitter sees average daily users grow 34% over last year to 186 million, while ad sales sink 23% due to panic. Have credit card debt? Now is a very good time to jump on a balance transfer. Get a 0% introductory APR for 18 months on balance transfers with this card. Give yourself a year and a half to pay off your balance for peace of mind. How do they know that those sunken ad sales are due to the panic? I mean, couldn't it be that some advertisers don't want to work with Twitter because Twitter censors people, including the president? Politics and world affairs. Thousands of Portland protesters protesters. I think you mean rioters. Gather outside federal courthouse, demand removal of protective fence so that they can get in and trash the place. Federal officers used tear gas and crowd control munitions after fireworks were shot from the crowd into the protected space. Yeah, see, that's not protesting. That's violent rioting. Judge rules the government retaliated against former Trump personal lawyer Michael Cohen over a potential upcoming book. Cohen ordered back to home confinement for the duration of his 3-year sentence. The UK offers pathway to citizenship to millions of Hong Kong residents on the heels of controversial national security bill passed by Beijing. Offer applies to older residents who gained British national status before 1997 handover. Ah. That's mighty nice of the UK. What are the younger ones going to do, though? In depth. Inside the Space Force. From Time. Under the public's radar, Russia carried out the first observed demonstration of space-based anti-satellite weaponry. Enter the U.S. Space Force, formalized last year as the military's newest branch. I feel like they could have come up with a better name than that, but whatever. The worst disaster in Great Lakes history, from Smithsonian, from 2014. Exactly 105 years ago today, but in 2014, so now it's 6 years later, 111 years. The SS Eastland rolled onto its side while still docked in the Chicago River. An estimated 850 of Chicago's working class died. So why has it been forgotten? Why did it happen? This was abuse, from Vanity Fair. CBS looked the other way for years despite a slew of complaints against showrunner Peter Lenkov, mostly because he excelled at a difficult job. Okay. Consider the roadkill, from Outside. It sounds unsettling to some, but there are many arguments for and against eating roadkill. Can they all be true? Okay. Etc. Parents are rushing to form panic pods. Yes, it says pandemic pods, but we don't use that word here because we know the truth of what it is. Fabien Cousteau wants to build this futuristic underwater research station. Well, I don't know who that is, but I mean, if he's got the money to do something cool like that, more power to you. Dr. Anthony Fauci flattens a curveball straight into the ground. Ah ha 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 ha. Hair thinning? Learn how finasteride works to treat hair loss. Start your free visit on the HIMS telehealth platform today. HIMS. Yes, HIMS. HIMS. Fans take social distancing to new heights to watch their teams. Mapping every state's favorite snack. Exploding pigeons and other bizarre World War II weaponry. An epic shot of the Statue of Liberty during a storm. And one of the Lincoln Memorial. A realistic evaluation of most dogs' brain power. Clickbait. Venice places restrictions on overweight gondola riders. Well, I'm sure that's probably a good thing. If you get too many of those, you could sink your gondola, right? History book. Jacques Cartier claims Canada for France, 1534. Aviation pioneer Amelia Earhart born, 1897. Machu Picchu is rediscovered, 1911. Apollo 11 splashes safely in the Pacific, 1969. Happy birthday, Jennifer Lopez, 1969. Oh, cool for her. Never do things others can do and will do if there are things others cannot do or will not do. Amelia Earhart. That's an interesting quote. And it's I mean, it's a little bit timely since we've got so many people echoing in this countrywide echo chamber. But why? What's the point of saying all the same things that everybody else is saying? Say something different. But then you get canceled. And what would Amelia Earhart have to say about all this shit? That's it for our super smash of sundry news. Thank you, and goodbye.